Just here with Ben, and I did not know this.
Who's that?
You're in film it? But he's just told me that this is wild garlic, and I'm just eating it. It actually just tastes the garlic, and the amount of what is growing around this Warriors Mound, and the fact that it's garlic, and they were called the Gaels, and the language is Gaelic, and they were well known for eating it because it's got like circulation properties for improving health. I did not know that, and I didn't know that you could eat the leaves of it, which I've been thinking about wanting to find more types of leaves you can eat besides nettle and spinach. And he's just told me now that you can eat these leaves, and it's actually garlic for circulation. So I'm gonna dig this out. He's gonna film me digging it out.
Mm-hmm.
How far down do you think the root is?
Mm-hmm.
I've actually got a shovel in here.
Have you? In your bag?
No, I meant I've got a shovel. I could have brought if I'd have known.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is going to do the job. Like I was hoping we could just grab it and yank it out.
Mm-hmm. No.
Do you think this garlic's been growing here since those trees were, since the 1700s, or do you think like the council or someone's put it here?
Natural, it's
Absolutely everywhere.
It's just a natural thing.
Yeah, but it's garlic native to England. I thought it was foreign.
No, it's a wild type of garlic. So it's not like your garlic you're getting fresh.
Well, do you think, so would they have eaten this back then if they had
I
it?
thought so, they've flavoured it. Yeah.
Well, was this, what I mean to say is, was this here BC, like, you know, before, like, was this here before Roman conquest?
It's ancient, yeah. Thousands of years ago.
Garlic, Gaelic.
Could be.
I didn't know there was a part of, I mean, I've never thought about the top part of the plant. It's really weird because I've been eating strawberries recently, and I've been thinking, why am I throwing this top bit away when I should be eating it?
No, it's not all green's good though, is it? Some of it's just bitty and leafy. Not all leaves are tasty.
How deep are they?
I don't know, just pull a clump up instead. And roots. You should come back with your shovel.
Got a trowel.
Oh, whatever.
How far down do you reckon it is?
Well, there was a bit of slate back at the hill, further back there. If
Yeah,
you do
that's...
that, if you go back that way and get that bit of slate, if you're really dedicated to doing it.
Well, I can come back anytime.
Yeah. I'll stop in around 4 minutes. I'll carry on for you, it's fine.
It's not the best tool for the job, this.
No, so get a bit of slate or something. Shall we stop now?
I'll come back with a better So I decided to come back to Warriors again. Can't believe how much wild garlic is growing around this place. Certain sections of it are absolutely coated in between the trees of wild garlic. Now what makes me laugh is people use the garlic root, a stronger version of the root, because of its biotic properties. Apparently that's to do with one of the chemical contents of it that's got sulfur attached to it. The thing is that we know that people aren't getting anywhere near enough leaves in a diet, because everything we eat that has got the decent amount of potassium or calcium in it is now filled with additional or excess calories we don't want, mainly fats, sugars, and a lot of those starchy vegetables that people are eating, turnips, potatoes, they're really high in calories, and you need to be getting large amounts of minerals without the excess calories. Now, spinach leaves are one thing, but eating just spinach leaves is a bit dodgy because you've got all the oxalates in it. But once you start mixing nettles, which are very high in, probably one of the highest foods you can have for calcium content, really absorbable calcium content, and good potassium and magnesium as well. But I've been thinking, what other leaves are there? Well, when Benjamin Dunn told me the other day that, well, you can eat these, here we are. You can eat these wild garlic, and it actually, as soon as you eat the leaf, it tastes like garlic. Now, this plant actually won plant of the year not that long ago. Now, if you look here, it's actually covered in it, and it hasn't got roots like traditional garlic, big roots. It's only got very small roots, but you can eat those, and it has got a content of this active that's in the other garlic, but just lower quantities of it. Now, I looked on the internet, and you can actually buy, they do sell some places, like Ocado sells wild garlic leaves, so you can eat them, and they're sort of commercially available, but nettle leaves aren't. So right there now, you've got wild garlic, and the thing with the wild garlic is it adds the flavour straight into the meal. So if you've got nettle and spinach and then you add the wild garlic in, it's like the leaf itself has got the flavour. You're not putting some ground up root in for flavour. It's another leaf with more potassium, another leaf with more magnesium, and you're getting it straight in there. And these are the things that we're severely missing in this diet. I mean, even around this place, we've got nettle everywhere. Got all kinds of things. So this is actually covered. It's amazing that this warrior's tomb site, which I believe is one of the main Brigantes hill forts, I think if you swap the trees down and cover the surrounding area with trees and have this above it, it would have been an amazing view out across and around the sides of the valley. So I can actually, now that he's mentioned it, I can actually smell it. It's all around here. In fact, all the leaves are kind of missing from these ones. I only came here yesterday and there was loads and loads of leaves. Oh, here we go. Right, so look, now the density of which this is covered, these are the leaves. They just taste amazing when you pick them and eat them. Obviously you want to wash them because you don't want to get any tummy bugs really, or worms or anything. But I mean, you want to wash these, but you could just pick these and eat them. So if these were growing around in this density, you would just have an amazing meal right there, with the potassium, calcium, magnesium that you need, and actually tasty to eat as well. And you could even wrap things with these leaves. You could wrap, if you have a little bit of meat or whatever, you just wrap it in it. They're actually they're a lot more versatile to use and wrap things around than spinach leaves or nettle leaves. And to be honest, some of the nettle leaves I've been seeing now, I know you're supposed to eat the young ones, it says eat the young ones, but as long as they don't crystallise when they get too old, the calcium, the big ones are huge. They're actually massive. But look at this. It's not just here, it's all right back. All this whole area here. There's some light shining through. Somebody's got a little gate there from the garden. the entire floor is absolutely covered in these. Oh, right back over there as well. The actual density of this is absolutely insane. So I'm going to see if I can dig. Didn't bring a little holder or anything. I had a go yesterday when Ben was with me, did a little bit of filming, but we didn't really have a tool with us. He had like his penknife with him. So I've got this trowel this time. They're not actually that they're not that big, these. They're only a small root. Alright, I've got them. Here we go. Yeah, so they're only, the roots of these are actually only very small. It's a very small bulb. But with the property effects, these would actually keep you healthy. You wouldn't actually need actual proper massive garlic bulbs. I think there's been some sort of movement to try and stop us eating as many green leaves, and they've promoted like turnips and potatoes, big starchy veg, but eating all that is just massive amounts of carbohydrates and calories. This actually did win Plant of the Year, and you can actually get it in some places, but it should be, I think on avocado you don't get that much. I think you want to be getting bags of it like you do with your spinach. So I think the valuable part is the leaf, because A, it tastes actually great just when you eat it raw, and then it's just got so much, it's got your potassium, magnesium and calcium in that you want, without, you know, all excess calories. So I've actually got some little tiny, got some of these bulbs out. I'll probably go and I want to pick the leaves because I'm more interested in the leaves. So I'm going to like fill this bag up with leaves. I can't believe these are actually growing here. I was just thinking to myself as well, I was thinking, what other leaves are there what you can actually pick besides nettle? And there's actually so many of these. The fact that they're on this site here is fantastic, because it's like the word Gaelic and garlic. The language name Gaelic is spelled the same as garlic, and eating these would have been so healthy and nutritious. Just look at them all covering the floor everywhere. It's just absolutely amazing that they're at this site. And actually, Ben was saying that there's been several axe finds, bronze axes and stone axes in this area, and they were put over more towards Almondbury side, but he says that that's not the exact location they were found. So people were in the woods working with axes in woodlands, which was up near to this mound, more closer to this mound than they were to Castle Hill, actually, which is pretty amazing. So I'm going to collect some of these leaves now. I found a snail as well. There's a couple of snails. You could get, you know, with these leaves, getting 30 grams of protein, and then a few snails can make up another 30 gram, like, you know, 10 or 20 snails. That really goes towards actually a really good, decent diet. And these are meant to be actually sweeter than the French snails. It's all these sweets and rotten teeth and cakes and everything. It's just actually insane. I just can't believe what's happened to us. When I'm ill, when I'm a kid, and my doctor's saying drink Lucozade, which is literally sugar, saying that's going to help me get better. You know, when he's not saying go and pick some wild garlic or some nettle and make soup. He's just saying eat chicken soup. It's almost like the doctors were told to be malicious to us when we're ill and got certain diseases, and buy more Lucozade, spend more money to this Black Rock place, God knows what it was called in 1970 or 1980. I'm seriously concerned with the aristocracy, actually. I'm extremely concerned. You know, when they say, oh, eat caviar, it's a posh food, when all along they started selling us the really bad sugars and things in his diets, and not actually trying to help us and guide us to the healthy eating at all, putting that in the shops. Little snail pulling back. So I've got myself there's probably more than 300 grams there. I've not filled the bag right up. It's about 500 grams. Can't believe how much there is. People should be farming this in massive quantities. It should be in the supermarket. But then again, because the supermarkets are all directed from behind the scenes by BlackRock and Vanguard, they don't want us to have this in the supermarket. You can get it in some places, but it's not mainstream, which is a shame, really. Garlick at the Warrior's tomb. Maybe his ancestors. Who planted this? Did the council plant it, or has it been here all the time? Like since a long time ago, when they put the trees here, did they plant it? They were trying to tell us something about it. Garlick. Maybe if I wanted to remind my ancestors of something important, I'd try and leave a message or something. I'd like plant a load of it and leave it growing all around here. So that is, wow, that is 500 grams of wild garlic leaves blended into a puree, and that is just amazing. The nutrition in that must be unbelievable. I don't think that they needed there was no need for farming. I don't think there was any need for farming at all when they got all these wild garlic, nettles, other plants, small animals. There was something to do with the farming and growing corn and making bread that was more, it was more the, you know, people liked it. They didn't need it. It was more like a fashion or a style coming. The Mediterranean, where it's hot, not as many things grow. They need it then, and then if it passes through the cultures, but certainly the Celts, the Gaels, Gaelic-speaking people did not need. There was no need for farming. I don't believe at all, and I think they knew all about the properties of plants. Now these are the bulbs, little tiny bulbs. They're so cute. The taste of these, you can just eat those. It tastes just like garlic. Well, it is garlic. It's got the same chemical. Is it called allicin or something like that? How do you pronounce it? But not strong as the big garlic bulbs. Whew, they are strong though when you eat those. Whew, it's got a kick in it. So these have got the same antibacterial and antiviral properties of the big garlic cloves. In a way, when you get the normal, the garlic we're familiar with and take them into separate cloves, each one of these bulbs is only as big as a normal garlic clove. Anyway, just a flatter shape. Now these are actually, I didn't know this, but they're illegal to dig these up when they're growing on common land, which is good because really, in our diet, we're not getting enough leaves. And the leaves have still got, it is that chemical that's got the sulfur attached to it that gives it that flavour which is in the leaves. So eating the leaves is going to be, it's going to be more antibacterial and antiviral than eating none at all. So it's just ridiculous that we don't. Those leaves aren't a popular supermarket item. You know, to have nettle available, wild garlic and spinach, 3 different types of leaves there, and then if you've got broccoli, you can make such filling dishes that really fill you up and are so healthy without banging on calories, without all the starch. I mean, the only appeal for turnips and radishes and big veg, carrots, is the size of them and the visual appeal. The leaves, I think that the government know about the health benefits of the leaves and that we need to be getting more potassium. I don't know why doctors were ever given advice to have Lucozade when you're ill or have chicken soup. It would have been obvious to the most retarded doctor ever that if you're ill, there are nettles available everywhere. This wild garlic, spinach, making soups out of those would actually have been absolutely unbelievably beneficial to your minerals, for your teeth, for your bones, for recovering from measles and chicken pox. The amount of sugar, they say drink Lucozade when they'd already got you going to the shops and buying sweets. I would prosecute. I actually now strongly believe that a proficient lawyer could sue the NHS and doctors, take legal action and prosecute them for crimes against the public. And you know, this might just be a passing comment that you might like cuff off to the side, you know, and you might just be like, oh, you know, he's talking rubbish, but I'm not. Now, we've got professional ministers sat in Parliament who claim to be out for the good of the people. We know this BlackRock and Vanguard are behind it and they've been purporting McDonald's and all these junk food, KFC, right? With that evidence from the NHS and doctors, I think there's actual malicious intent. And I believe that there is a very sinister, dark side of this government in the sweet industry, which funds and fuels the sales of toothpaste, and then you have to have your teeth drilled out with fillings when your teeth have got a certain capacity to restore enamel and also fill back in as well. I don't like it. I don't like this. And now we've got the brands, Lucozade, who's behind these brands, and the doctor's telling you to drink it. To me, I mean, even now if you speak to Dr. Berg, you know, I mean, you want to have energy, but what were kids doing when they were, you know, on holiday at the seaside, ill, and they had to see, and then, you know, they got measles or something, go drink Lucozade. What have you been eating at the seaside? Sweets. So it seems to me absolutely insane. I would come down with an hammer on the NHS, and you know, like when they had Jimmy Savile, and it happened a long time ago, and people were coming forward giving evidence, you know, that I'd touched them up. I think people need to come forward when they had chicken pox, measles, things like that. I think they need to come forward and give evidence. and it needs to be a little bit like when when they did the Hillsborough inquiry, an actual public inquiry. I think there needs to be an inquiry into why these foods weren't available in the shops, why the government who owns the companies, and Vanguard and BlackRock and the lords who owned the companies who were putting these greasy chicken turkey dinners with basting batterers on TV with, the Freddie Mercury I Want to Break Free style sort of housewife chicken basted Christmas dinner thing. Why they weren't advertising the nutritional leaves in food that we know, why instead they only want them for camouflage netting in the army to diet and all this. There's malicious intent. There is malicious intent for children's dental health, for the bone health, for the recovering ability. And it's happening now with this, everyone, even Neil Oliver and Lawrence from the Reclaim Party are talking about, they do think it's not incompetence. It's beyond, there's a certain incompetence you can accept, and then there has to be a certain amount of intelligence employed, and that intelligence that is behind this veneer of incompetence, it's orchestrated, I mean, the law for these not being, there is a law to say it's illegal to dig these up, which is good because they grow back, because you want them to grow, because you want to actually get the leaves and you want them to stay. But people should be growing this in the garden, and there are certain areas and places who remove this from their own land. When they've got this growing on the land, they're removing it, which is ridiculous, You've seen that Hello Fresh advert? This is Hello Fresh. Look at that. It's almost like chives. Look at the nutrition in that. The calcium, potassium. The flavour of that is going to be absolutely brilliant with the nettle, to help the nettle flavour. And then with your spinach puree and some broccoli puree makes it a bit sweeter. It's going to be absolutely unbelievably brilliant. I'll put that in the freezer.